Hey guys, Jake here. Today I got another disc review for you. Today we're talking about the Neutron Paradox. The super understable mid-range from Axiom discs. This is a disc unlike any I've ever thrown before. It is beyond understable. If you've watched either of my most recent In the Bags, the first one I was a little up in the air on. I thought it was cool, but I wasn't sure if it'd be useful. And then my most recent one, I have definitely gotten on the Paradox train. I really enjoy this disc, and once I figured out when and how to throw it, it's become an absolute gem. So, yeah, we'll get into it a little bit here. The numbers on this disc are 5 speed, 5 glide, -4 turn, and 0 fade. I agree with all those numbers. It's 5. It's definitely mid-range. The glide is maybe slightly above average. You can definitely throw this with very low power. You generally need to throw it with pretty low power, and it will go a long ways. The -4 turn, the biggest turn number I've seen on the disc up to this point, and it definitely delivers on that. And then the 0 fade is also accurate. Unless you barely fluff this thing out of your hand, it's not going to fade. It's going to either stay straight or turn. So I think everything about this, numbers-wise, makes sense to me. As to how I use this disc, this is a utility disc to me. There's not a great reason I would throw it otherwise. If you were a beginner, if you've just started playing disc golf and you have, maybe 200 feet of power on a good day, this is going to be a great disc. It's going to probably be the one disc you can get to fly straight or maybe even turn over. It's going to go a long ways because of the glide. I think you'll really be impressed. If you're a more advanced or power thrower, this is a disc that requires some finesse and some practice. But I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised if you take the time to get to know it. The utility shots that you can get with this are just so unique. Most people, when they think of a utility disc, they think of a super overstable disc that they're using for, tomahawks and rollers and grenades and random shots like that. Well, there's a ton of other sort of shots that you can come up with an understable disc that are equally as fun and impressive. And we'll go through those when we get to the film, which, by the way, I tried to get some footage on a course because that's where it makes the most sense to throw this. But the course was A, really busy, and B, it was just hard to get an angle where you could see this thing. If it's turning and weaving through trees, it's just a lot harder to see. So I just decided to go for just some field shots, and you'll just have to use your imagination and imagine the obstacles as we're kind of looking at what's going on. But yeah, so that's basically all there is to it. We'll hop into some video now so that we can take a look at what this thing looks like in the air. Alright, to start things off, we'll kind of look at like the max distance type of throw for this disc, and that's not quite full power on a pretty steep hyzer and getting it to flip up and all the way over. So we'll watch it full speed first here. Big hyzer, comes out, floating right, all the way to the ground. Now we'll slow it down a little bit and you can see just how much hyzer I'm coming out with this thing on. That's pretty steep hyzer, and this is, like I said, only like 80% power. If you go too much more than that, you're going to get it to roll a lot harder. And then, yeah, it'll flip up to flat and then just sort of gently ride to the right. You could probably get 300 feet of power for me. It's not a super common shot for me, but every once in a while you have like a tight tunnel that you need to kind of finish right on, and it can be easier to hit the tunnel if you throw on a hyzer, so sometimes it can be of value. But mostly this is just a shot to kind of show how flippy it is. Okay, so next up we have the other most common shot, is the roller that, well, at least most common people are going to think of with this disc. So for a short mid-range roller, pretty much release it flat or a little bit of Annie and it'll roll over. I am terrible at throwing rollers, so this is not a great example, but I figured I'd at least try for you guys. Okay, now let's take a little bit of a look at what it might be for like a lower powered thrower, or if you're trying to throw really controlled hyzer flips through the woods.
So this is like half power, just a gentle hyzer, well, fairly steep hyzer, I guess. But it'll just flip up to flat, go mostly straight, maybe a tiny little bit of drift back to the right, but mainly just looking at flipping the disc up to flat and mostly staying on line. Yeah, a very useful shot if you really need to slow down and make sure you hit the gap. Okay, let's take it down even another notch. 30% power, barely throwing this disc, like less than I would throw a Pilot or any other putter. Just come out flat and it will just stay straight. No fade, no turn. Really nice if you have a very tight gap that you need to be gently working your way through or something along those lines. Super useful for up shots. Okay, now let's start looking at some more fun utility shots. So the old flip up and ride is a great shot for getting around corners, up hills. Basically just throw a super steep hyzer up real high, let it sort of stand up, get some distance before it kind of comes back to the left. The Paradox is great at this. It does a great job of flipping up and slowly coming back down. It can be really helpful if you're tucked up against the left side of a fairway and need to get out but still end up left, or if you're trying to go up a hill. Just a fun shot and very useful. Here we have another one of my favorite new utility shots that I have. Basically throwing the worst drive ever, just a nose up, straight in the air, terrible shot, but this disc will just still turn over and just glide out to the right. So it's now become a useful shot, not just a terrible shot. So yeah, if you're going uphill and you need to finish off to the right, or some crazy obstacle that you need to get around, that shot will work. You don't have to throw a giant Annie or a flip up forehand. This is going to give you a weird stalling turnover, I guess. It's just an interesting and really cool shot. All right, now let's move over to the forehand side of things quick. Just really interesting stuff you can do with the forehand, just because they tend to flip even harder. Real gentle shots, you can get them to just nicely flip up and go straight, or drift a little bit to the left afterwards. Add a little bit more power and you get them to turn even more. Just a really nice forehand disc for those who don't want to throw max power forehand. And last up, I just want to show you guys some of the fun scrambling shots that I've used and can see being very helpful to a lot of people. Just with nowhere to go, you can a little wrist flip, and you can go this Hyzerflip all the way over to a nice turnover. If you're tucked up on the left side of the fairway, reaching out, it's pretty easy to with almost no mobility of your arm, just get a nice turnover and end up on the left side. Also, you can see if you give a little too much, you can get yourself a nice little forehand roller too. So yeah, that's the last of the trick shots. There's plenty more to be done, and I'm curious if you guys have ever seen or done any really crazy fun other shots with the Paradox. But those are just a few of my favorites.
All right, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. That is the Neutron Paradox. I highly recommend checking it out, no matter your skill level. There's something there for everyone, and there is a Paradox line for just about every lie you can come across. So it's kind of fun to get to know the different options that are out there. So yeah, I recommend it highly. Go and check them out. They're pretty much everywhere still, as far as I know. Currently only in Neutron plastic, but I'm sure that'll change. Actually, that's a lie. They do have some in the Proton, what do you call it? The watermelon Proton, but they were like for the circuit challenge, and they're like a prize, so it's not like something you can just go buy necessarily. But anyway, they do exist, and from what I've heard, they're about the same. I don't think I've heard if they're more stable, but odds are you're just gonna find Neutron. But yeah, great disc. They're out there. I'm gonna have some more reviews coming soon. The uplink for sure. I should mention that, so I don't put out nearly as many reviews as I probably could, for one main reason. So there's a ton of people out there that do initial impressions reviews, and they do them really well. So like TK Discs, I love Shay Stevens, a lot of the MVP team. They all, you know, get advanced prototypes of the discs, and they get to try them out. And they'll usually throw, you know, a dozen field shots or maybe a round or something, a round or two, with a disc before they kind of do their initial impressions review. And that is super useful, particularly for someone like me who's just deciding, do I even want to try this thing out? But I don't think there's a need for more people necessarily to do that. And so my idea whenever I do reviews, I want to have a disc in my bag for, you know, half a season or something like that, or at least a few months, where I can really get to know and get over my initial love or hate of a disc before I start making any sort of judgment publicly on it. So sometimes you'll see, like in the bag, we'll talk about, oh, I've been trying this disc out and I kind of like it. But a true review from me is usually a disc that I've had and, you know, played with for quite a while. So that's kind of why you don't see every new disc coming out getting a review from me, because yeah, it could be just kicking them out, but then I don't know, I just feel like that market's already got people that are doing that job, and I don't want to take away from what they're doing. I don't know that my opinions would be all that much different on initial impressions. So just something gee whiz information if you've ever wondered why I don't do so many. But at any rate, if you enjoyed this, feel free to put a like. It helps, you know, get my channel to show up for more people so they can enjoy the content as well. Also, if you want to catch more of this stuff, feel free to subscribe. That way you can catch any of the latest videos right when they drop. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.